What happens when a composer, a choreographer, and a theater impresario walked together into a Parisian theater in 1913? Well, if they are Igor Stravinsky, Vaslav Nijinsky, and Sergei Diaghilev, they just don't walk in. They set the entire theater on fire. Metaphorically speaking, of course. Today we are speaking about the Rite of Spring, a piece so revolutionary it made audience riot and critics weep, sometimes out of confusion. Paris in 1913, a city caught between the romance of the Belle Époque and the bold new ideas of modernism. On one side, you had gentle saloons with soft valses, and on the other, bohemian cafes where Picasso might sketch on a napkin while someone recited scandalous poetry. Into this mix walks Stravinsky, a Russian with a fire in his belly and music in his head that would make even the most adventurous listener squirm. Stravinsky was born in 1882 in Russia into a musical family. But let's be honest, actually, no one thought he would become famous. His father wanted him to be a lawyer. Igor tried briefly, but his heart belonged to music. By his 20s, he was studying under Rimsky-Korsakov, one of Russia's great composers. But here's the thing about Stravinsky. He didn't just want to write pretty music. He wanted to shake things up. And with the Rite of Spring, he teamed up with two other disruptors of the art world to do just that. First, let's talk about Sergei Diaghilev. He wasn't just a theater impresario. He was a master of chaos. The man had an eye for talent and a nose for scandal. Diaghilev's ballet, Russes, wasn't about tutus and tiaras. It was bold, modern, and completely unpredictable. And then there was Nijinsky, let's say a genius on stage, but also a bit eccentric off the stage. He was known for his gravity, defined lips, and a complete disregard for what an audience might want to see. Perfect for Stravinsky's vision. The rehearsals of the Rite, they were legendary. Nijinsky would shout counts at the dancer over Stravinsky's complex rhythms, which were impossible to follow unless you were a mathematician or had nerves of steel. Dancers cried, musicians threatened to quit, and Stravinsky, watching it all unfold, probably wondered if he would have made a terrible mistake. May 29, 1913. Théâtre des Champs-Élysées is packed. Parisian elites in their finest attire, critics ready with pens poised, and Stravinsky likely sweating bullets in the corner. From the opening bassoon solo, play in an impossibly high register, the audience was confused. Some whisper, "Is that a bassoon? Is it sick?" But confession soon turned to outrage as the dancers began their angular stomping movements. By the time the music hit its first violent climax, the audience was yelling, booing, and allegedly throwing punches. Stravinsky himself stormed out, furious. But Diaghilev, oh, he was thrilled. "Un scandale," he said, "exactly what I want." So what will cause this chaos? Let's break it down. First, the music. Stravinsky rhythms were wild. Irregular meters, pounding accents, and overlapping patterns that seemed designed to confuse. It wasn't pretty, it was primal. Then there is the dancing. Nijinsky choreography rejected everything classical ballet stood for. No grace, no poise, just raw, jagged movements that looked more like a ritual than a performance. And that's exactly the point. It was about raw human energy, life, sacrifice. Let's talk about Stravinsky himself. He was also a fan of Picasso, and the two became friends. Picasso even sketched him once, though Stravinsky complained the nose was a bit off. Artistic egos. Despite its rocky start, the Rite of Spring went on to change everything. Its rhythms influenced composers from Bartok to Bernstein. Its raw energy inspired choreographers like Pina Bausch, and its impact is still felt today in concert halls, on stage, even in movies like Fantasia. But perhaps its greatest legacy is that it taught us that art doesn't need to be safe or comfortable. Sometimes it's meant to challenge, to provoke, or even disturb. And isn't exactly that what makes it also unforgettable? In the end, the Rite of the Spring, it was not just a piece of music, it was a revolution. It dared to ask, what if we stop looking just to the past and we start to embrace the wild, untamed future? A question that even now feels as fresh as the spring itself. This has been Behind the Classics. Remember, behind every note there is a life tale waiting for us. See you next time. Big kiss. Remember to subscribe and give your like.